Hi, Larry. Oh,
Hello, how are you?
good. Hey, Conscious.
Hi, Sharrell. Thanks for having me.
Thank you both for doing this interview. Let me catch up the audience and then we'll get right into it.
Okay.
Okay, you guys, this has been the hottest story on the internet. And so I'm very, very thankful that they're both decided to do this. I met Conscious first and was talking to him about Larry. As you know, he came on my show before we did our interview together, and I think it went really well. And Conscious is the one that hooked up this interview. So thank you so much, Conscious.
Of course.
I asked him to come on today because we want to present evidence, and Conscious has a big binder of papers. So I didn't want to go through it all. So I said, just come on the show. come on the show, and then he will present the receipts that he needs as we go along. I feel like receipts are very, very important, and Conscious is really good at explaining it, as you've seen in our previous video. All right, so I wanted to say this before we got started. I first came into this story through Bishop Whitehead. I started following him first, the whole robbery. I'm not trying to relive the past, but I got familiar with the story. When I seen that Tasha K was doing a 3-part documentary, my thoughts were different than most people. And I keep saying this, but it's the God's honest truth. A lot of people jumped in and said, oh, Larry's guilty. I didn't look at it that way. I thought, wait a minute. This is so Cardi B to me, the similarities. I thought, okay, she accused Cardi of having herpes. She accused Larry of having AIDS. She interviewed Star Marie to bash Cardi. She interviews Levantre to bash Larry. I've seen this before. As you know, if you've been watching my channel earlier today, Jaguar Wright is a good friend of mine. Jaguar Wright told me how much damage Tasha K did to her life. She paid somebody to say that Jag touched him as a little boy. She used the M word. Okay. Then it was Jag's son who said she tricked me into doing interviews. So that's how my mind worked. And I was like, wait a minute, let me get to the bottom of this. This is too many similarities here. So, as you know, I kept saying, I want more evidence to come in before I make a decision. And I'm still stand there today. So I spoke to Larry. You told me that I can ask you anything I want, right?
That's correct.
Also, I wanted to make sure, have I paid you for this interview?
Oh no.
I don't pay people for interviews. I'm not knocking people that do. That's what you do. I feel that if I pay people for interviews, it'll give them an incentive to like put on a show. You know what I mean? I don't pay for interviews.
I just
Am
want to
I on
add
your?
that I'm not opposed to a check, but
No, I haven't paid Conscious either. I have not paid. No money has been exchanged at all. It's very important that I say that because people are going around saying that I'm on Larry's payroll. Larry, do I even know you?
No, not at all.
Am I on your payroll?
Not at all.
Mm. One final thing. Well, okay, now let's get into it. Tasha K has accused you of a lot of horrible things that you should be locked up for. She said that you had AIDS, right? She
Mhm,
said that you given AIDS to someone. She
mhm,
says that you touch young boys. She
mhm.
said that you beat your wife. Did I leave anything out?
Um, I think I haven't listened to her just so I cannot go on my platform and go all the way off. I
Mhm.
do talk a little bit in my Patreon, but I don't really do too much on my main platform because my audience is much different than hers. And I don't want to inform people who are really the elite in our type of business of the craziness that is actually happening on these YouTube streets.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if she is echoing the original case for the original YouTuber like Bishop Whitehead was doing, then you will also need to add tax fraud, tax evasion, PPP loan scam, abusing my mom, using church funds to buy my baby mama Birkin bags. She did, I know she said that one because I saw that written out. So that was libel. And quite a few other things as relates to money, raising money on my platform and not using the money for what I raised it for.
Wow, that's a lot.
Or can we also not forget wearing my bussy out in the backseat of cars?
Oh my God, conscious.
That's true. That's true, though. That's true.
You say that Tasha K and Bishop Whitehead is running a smear campaign on you. What will be their motive for doing this?
Well, you know, I did have a relationship. I actually think it's all four of them. The YouTuber, Levontre, although I do think they're using him, his mom, and his wife, and whoever other disgruntled member they can find from the past that I don't have any relationship with at all anymore. And Whitehead and Tasha. Tasha, I had a relationship with. Whitehead attempted to have a relationship with me for over a year and to come on my platform. It was a consistent ask, and some other lady in my inbox asking on his behalf, wanting to connect and do something on my platform. One time it was against A.R. Bernard, and another time it was against something else that was happening in one of the boroughs. But I was a no. When I met him, I just did not click. It just did not click for me. And I love people, but it just didn't click for me. And my mentor was like, no, this is Bishop Whitehead. You know, he showed us his thick Bible and everything. And I put it on my stories. I was getting to know him then. But within the first 24 hours of engaging him just for a few hours on 2 days, I was able to discern and detect that this man was not who he said he was. I didn't believe him at all. And so I told my mentor that, and I attempted to still stay cordial with him, but it just turned into him calling me on FaceTime all the time and me not answering.
Okay. So you're saying the motive is what's that he just is upset with you? What's the motive?
I think his motive is because he wanted a relationship with my spiritual father, and I sort of like blew the whistle on him because I had a more closer relationship with my spiritual father. And my spiritual father listened to me and began to watch him. And then Whitehead proved me correct. And he went off on one of his Bishop Jordan's friends, which is Bishop Carlton Pearson. Leandria checked them, cussed them out, you know, in the green room. So he just did a few things very harsh against women in the LGBTQAI plus community. And that caused my mentor to cut him off cold turkey. And I believe that was some kind of injury to him. Same thing with the YouTuber. I think I injured him by something that I said. I didn't know who he was. He was in my chat. Didn't even know he was emailing me for a long period of time, trying to get my attention. And also my other friend, Bishop George Bloomer, he was emailing him, trying to get on his show. But I saw him in the chat, I think when Conscious was interviewing me. And whatever he said, I said, whoever this is in the chat, I don't know who it is, and they're insignificant. So that injured him. And from that day forward, he went from fan to foe. And then me and Tasha K, we were cool. We were at least friendly. And I think it's safe to say I was a friend to her, and not just to her, but her husband as well. I assisted her in many different ways. Any story you saw her do with a preacher, a call was put to me. The whole John Gray last thing, I was the one behind the scene. Even her Patreon, her app, and all of that's me. And my suggestions and my direction, I already had these things in operation prior. And I think somewhere down the line, something in her heart and mind clicked as it relates to me. And she just held it from me and continued to be friends until it was about a 2-week period of a few things happening back to back. Then she came live one day saying all of this horrendous, horrific stuff. And that was a shock, just as much as a shock to everybody out there that saw me on her platform, me and her sit down with about Kirk Franklin and some other stuff. it was a shock to me, and still today, it's like, wow, I don't really know what happened. No.
So just one day you looked up and she turned on you. It would be safe for you to say, I must have did something to piss her off.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I did make a comment about her Cardi B case on my platform, and it came up in her commentary later. So I realized that was something that she didn't like. When she went live with Conscious and said that I raised $25,000 and didn't pay a lawyer bill, I had to correct her and tell her something that the lawyer that we shared mutually didn't want me to tell her, because she said she feared that Tasha would say something live or pop off. And so I had to tell her that. Then I shared information from one YouTuber, Armand Wiggins, about a relationship that broke down between him and Jason Lee. And so I said, could I share this with Tasha? He said, yes. I said, I'll put it in writing so what I'm saying can't be twisted. And I screenshotted it, sent it to him. And at the same time, I told her not to tell nobody. She sent it to another YouTuber, and he was live in 1 hour telling everything that I had put in that text. So she had to apologize to me publicly for that as well. And at the same time, she had asked me for a $250,000 investment, like a loan. And but all this stuff happened before I could even get back to her. And so our relationship was cut.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. It was probably the $250,000 loan. that might have did it. That might have did it. All right. So it's going around on the internet that you have a lot of houses that you put boys in. Why are you housing so many people? How does this? What is that?
It's not true. Number one, it's not true and has never been the case at all in the entire life of my ministry at all. It's just a narrative that they're putting together. My ministry was nothing but families. We had probably 9 single people, the life of the ministry, because I was married most of the years I was pastoring. So we just duplicated husband and wife teams and families. But there were a few that came with their son or their daughter as single parents, and we did take care of them.
Coming in because your church moved, right? Or something?
Yeah, it started in Fayetteville, North Carolina in 1998. And then in 2007, it moved from Fayetteville, North Carolina, March of 2007 to Raleigh, Durham area. And it stayed there until 2015. And the last 2 years, it went totally 100% via virtual.
Is it safe to say so? A lot of them were, you just paid for people to come up and move with you?
Well, yeah, and I didn't have to, but I did because they didn't want to stay in Fayetteville. Raleigh, Durham area. I had already moved to Atlanta, but I was driving back and forth to the church in North Carolina. And a lot of them wanted to be where I was. And so they began to move. But when I moved from Fayetteville to Raleigh, it was a short time period, probably from 2007 till about 2009. My house, Shamako, which was my assistant pastor at the time, now my vice president, our house was the main house, although we weren't the only house, but the main house is that people were moving up from Fayetteville, North Carolina to, yeah, that's right, from Fayetteville, North Carolina. That's right, from Fayetteville, North Carolina. And they get jobs, they would get houses and checking accounts and get everything they needed, then they will move out.
Okay, I see. That's good. Okay, so Levontre is listed as accuser number 1. And what would be his motive for lying on you?
I think this is an assumption, same thing with Tasha K. I think it's because that I dropped him. And he wasn't the only one, but he's the only one that is coming forth with these criminal accusations. I dropped them. I kicked them out. And see, this is something that everybody don't know. If I am in your life and I am helping you Not just me, but there was others that was on the staff doing the same thing. Because there were some that were more affluent than others. We were the reason why they had food, water, clothes, homes, and cars. So if I disconnected myself, you don't have that anymore. So I feel that's the reason why the very first time in 2010, after we kicked him out of the house, and then later on kicked his wife out about 2 months later or a month later, I think that's the reason why he started those rumors then. And then he apologized, said he was sorry, he was being emotional. People was in his ear about my sexuality in the Greensboro area. So he came back and he apologized. You know, his mama begged me to let him come back. And she said she didn't believe anything that he was saying. And, you know, I shouldn't have let him come back. But it was then that I knew who he was, in my opinion. I knew then that there was some kind of something that he had as it relates to me that was strange. And so from 2010 all the way till I closed the church in 2017, the people around me were really informing me about his relationship with me. Because even then, although we were not even in each other's life, except for seeing him at church or on shows or after church, or if we all went out to eat after church, like a group of us, I would see him then. Even then, everybody was cautioning me, and they didn't really have to, because by that time, I was already like, I don't trust you anymore to tell that kind of lie. So then when I cut him off again in 2017, which is when I closed the church, then the rumors came up again.
Let's talk about these rumors. He's accusing you.
Before we do,
Uh-huh.
There's a text thread that reveals just how mad Levontre was at Larry when Larry severed ties with him socially. That's in a Facebook DM exchange between Levontre and Larry. I'm not sure if Larry, you need to share that.
I mean, you want to share that now? Let me see. Yeah. So there's a rumor going out there that Larry kicked Levontre out of the house because he got married, and Larry was jealous of the fact that Levontre had a wife. But you just described you kicked them out at two separate times. So that's true, right?
Yeah, and I can prove that through email.
Okay, good. All right, what are we about to see, Conscious?
So what you guys are about to bear witness to is a 2017 Facebook DM exchange between Levontre and Larry. If I was to go back, it begins with Larry messaging Levontre because he was told by his best friend and assistant pastor Shamako that Levontre was pretty distressed over finding out that he was blocked from all social medias and that Larry had cut him off because Larry is an Aquarius, which defaults him to being an asshole. So when he's done, he cuts you cold turkey. So as a result of Shamako bringing that conversation back to Larry, Larry felt obviously, some sentiment. So he messages Levontre, and I'm gonna read you Larry's reply. And
before you read that, I want everybody to know the why. Larry, why did you kick out Levontre the first time?
Well, the first time that I kicked him out is because this was like his second offense of fucking another member of the church. And it was, in my eyes, low down and dirty because it was the best friend of the one that he was fucking the first time.
What is fucking?
Just remove the R. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's the Christian version of the bad word, Sharrell.
Okay, go ahead.
So that was ultimately the reason why. But there were so many things that had happened in my home once he moved in there. Because it's another thing that Conscious told me was being said on the internet, that he moved in the house with me at 17. Not true. He moved into the house with me where I was in 2019 before his birthday. So he was 18 years old. So that's when he moved into my home in 2009. Now, I had a place in Morrisville, but as soon as he moved in there, same thing that happened in 2008. I moved out. What happened was people would sort of migrate when we move another family in. Mm-hmm. And if they were coming where I was physically, I would move out. I mean, because I'm funny like that, I got to have my space, So he did not live in the home with me long term for it was like 7 months.
Okay, before we get in that, you brought up the age thing. Hold on one second, Conscious. I because the age thing is very important. It establishes timeline, and the there have been Levantre has been inconsistent with the ages, but so have you. Why were you inconsistent with the ages, and what is the age?
I haven't been inconsistent with ages. I who said that?
There's a tape out there. It's on your Patreon, and you were just like, this was when it in its infantry. You were saying, I think he was 17, maybe 18 when I met him, and people are taking that and running with it. And
Oh
so,
no, that's a misquote. I met him officially when he was 17. Meaning he was at Shamako's house, which is where he was living. I went over there, saw him. I thought he was dressed in the way that would get him shot by police. Me and my assistant took him and bought him some new clothes and dropped him off back over there at their house.
And so he was how old?
He was 17 years old. It was right before his birthday. He could have been older than that, but I think he was 17 years old.
That's okay. That's the inconsistency.
Yeah, that's how they messed. No, I never. I mean, the truth don't change.
All right. Let's go back. So you kicked him out. So let's look at these receipts. Go ahead, Conscious.
And what's interesting about this receipt is that you're going to see that Levantre also establishes the same timeline that corroborates Larry's timeline as well. So just remember that this is a 2017 Facebook DM exchange. It starts with Larry saying, our relationship isn't the same because of life, but I still care about you and I hope the best for you. I know I was a big part of your life and we are not as close, but you can always talk to me. Just thought you needed to know that. Levantre responds back March 5th of 2017 and says, I appreciate you saying that. I've been feeling that we needed to talk recently. Things are definitely different, but no love lost. Larry says, okay, then I'm ready when you ready, nigga. He says, cool. Now, mind you, this is the first level of exchange. Right. Levantre is pretending to be all right. He's not acting like he's burdened by the fact that Larry didn't cut him off. But 2 months later, in July 15th of 2017, he gives this dissertation to Reid. Hey, Reid, so it's clear that the combo I had with Pastor Bryant was misrepresented. So let me clarify. I didn't ask him why you deleted me. I told him I noticed you deleted me when I went to message you a few weeks ago. You don't owe me an explanation for anything you decide to do with your life. It's not that I was uncomfortable asking you why. I just wasn't interested. If deleting me and Ash, which is his now wife, is one of the things it takes to make your life more enjoyable, then I encourage it. Honestly, if a vision was enough, which I don't believe it was, for you to make a in-the-moment decision to delete me from your social media without pursuing a conversation after almost 10 years of relationship history, we were never as close as I wanted to believe all these years. Anyway, bruh, you don't owe me anything. Even your explanation for why you deleted us agrees with my logic. You were able to rationalize that a conversation needed to happen, and in response to that rationalization, you decided deleting us was best. That's not the way you respond in a relationship that has value to you. So I just want to pause right here, Sharrell, because this is very foundational and significant. Because this is a 2017 exchange. Levantre establishes here that you delete me from your social media without pursuing a conversation after almost 10 years of relationship history. Well, if Levantre is 26 at this point, going on 27 in 2017, how old would he have been 10 years from 2017?
16, 17?
He would have been 16 going on 17. Now, Mike, you can subtract a year or two from that because he says almost 10 years. So he rounds up a number. He either rounds up 8 years to 10 or 9 years to 10, which puts him right on the same timeline that Larry has listed in his lawsuit, and that Larry been saying all across his platform that I met Levantre at 17. He moved in my home at 18 years of age. So Levantre is literally lying out of both sides of his neck when he says, I was being groomed by Larry at 14. I was walking through Walmart with Larry at 14 and 15, that I was in the house in the Alusty Drive property that didn't even exist until 2006, but Levante would have been 14 in 2004. So there's all of that discrepancy completely avalanched into his situation. Now, mind you, in the first part of Unhinged's documentary, Levante and Tasha K have an entire cackle over how preposterous it is for Larry to assume that he would make these claims out of being angry over being cut off. But yet, as you just heard here for yourself, in Levante's own words, he's completely distraught and upset that Larry has the audacity, a man that he's accusing of being his violator and his perpetrator, of blocking him, not affording him a conversation after almost 10 years of friendship and relationship history. How dare he? This is not the way that you treat a relationship that's of value to you, etc. He's going completely off. But in that interview, him and that bald-headed wandering spirit known as Unhinged with Delusional K have a big laugh about how narcissistic of Larry to assume that somebody would be so pressed over him letting them go that they would even remotely seek revenge in any way. But you just saw it and read it and heard it for yourself.
I want to say something right here. First of all, thank you, Conscious, because the only thing that people heard was what I said, and I've been saying the same thing from the get up. But Conscious did the work and poured that thing out in his own words. Now, this is what is interesting to me, Sharrell. Tasha K knows all of this.
I know. I'm going to get to that. She does. I'm going to get to that.
This is not new to her. She knew about the interviews of 4 or 5 people that the original YouTuber did. She knew about all of this because we were in consistent communication and talking since 2019.
I'm going to get to that because she absolutely knew all of this. But I want to stress an important issue here. So it's obviously he got mad because you put him out. And there's rumors going around that you aren't the only person that he accused of touching him. Is that true?
That is very true. He accused, and I'm not going to say the person's name, but it's his cousin. And from what I understand, he possibly could still be in relationship with him. And I didn't even share with Shamako, who was the one that his original mentor. He really was the one that mentored him and Vincent, because I was in and out of the country. He shared with him the same story, but I never told Shamako what he shared with me. So not only did he tell me, but he also told the person that was really mentoring him in the ministry. He said it was his cousin. And then he also accused the former pastor that his mom had him playing drums for of showing him things that were inappropriate, and alleged that he took him to a strip club or something of that nature. There was some young girl that was in the ministry or the neighborhood that they were doing videos or something together. He was doing all this stuff at an inappropriate age, taking his mama car. Then he came into the ministry and took people cars to go do different stuff. So he was an issue, but I believed in his potential. Shamako believed in his potential, like we do everybody that come through the entire ministry.
You're saying before, when he came to your church, you already knew that he accused another pastor of touching him?
This was the first conversation he had with me in 2017. 2007. Shamako knew before me, because I'm not always there. And Shamako was the main, he was in his house along with his mom. So the mama and Shamako and the now wife all lived in Shamako's house.
Does anybody else in that church know that he accused 2 other people of touching him?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. They could know. I don't know. Because he was friends with quite a few different people in there.
It brings me up. So there's 3 accusers, right? There's Levante, another person named Dell, and a third person. I don't know his name, but he recanted his statements. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. The Delquan guy is the one that said that I gave him HIV. And so this is the thing about content creators. Go see, I run a platform everybody knows here. I would have asked for proof that he had HIV, and then I would have called me and asked me for proof that I have HIV or not to find out what the truth was, and not just get online and start putting that on people without any test or any receipt. It was him that accused me of that, and then he told some graphic, detailed story, just like Levontre did with Tasha, and like he did with the first YouTuber concerning me. And I just don't understand. I don't understand what his reason and purpose was, because he too apologized to me twice before. When I kicked him out of the house, I heard that rumor like a year later.
That's then rumor.
He came back and apologized. Then he went back running his mouth again. He came back and apologized 2 weeks before he was on the YouTuber's platform telling all the lies all over again.
Did you hear that this man probably has HIV, and that
if memory serves me correct, I think, well, I'm not gonna say that, but I'm gonna say it because they tell lies, I might well tell the truth. He did disclose that to me, but I don't have any proof.
Do you have HIV?
No, I do not. And I want everybody to know that if you do have HIV, it is not a death sentence, and don't feel bad about that. And don't let nobody make you feel bad for HIV, being gay, or same-sex activities or any of that stuff. But no, I have never had HIV. I do not have HIV. And because I'm very finicky about my health, I always get tested and get my blood pulled. I gave Conscious 3 of those tests.
And can I show
you have proof that you don't have HIV?
Yeah.
Can we share that screen so I can?
Oh yeah, you have it?
Yes, I have it.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay.
So what you guys are going to?
Okay.
So what you guys are looking at here is a 2014 HIV test. This would have been the same year that Delquan, accuser number 2, who accused Larry of giving him HIV. First accused him of giving him HIV in 2014. Larry literally got this HIV test done to debunk that. And as you guys can see here, HIV negative. Now, as you guys just heard Larry say, he's very meticulous about his health. So he gets his blood work done annually. Here's another HIV test from 2022 of last year, September 21st. And you can see here at the bottom, his HIV results are negative once again. You also can see here from a 2020 HIV test that he was tested for HIV, that you guys see there. And he is negative once again. Now, I want to say this really quickly because a lot of people are really ignorant on HIV. They think that you can actually take medicine that will allow you to test negative. That is misinformation. You can be HIV positive and be undetectable because of the medicine. But even HIV positive people who have a very low viral load that's rendered as undetectable still test positive, because the test is not testing for your viral load. The test is testing for HIV antibodies. That's why a HIV positive person with a low viral load will still test positive even if they're undetectable. So those are all of the actual receipts that people can screenshot who are running around with narrative that Larry is positive. He's not. Debunked, and debunked. I don't know if Larry also want to touch off on this DM exchange between him and Delquan, or if you don't.
No. Let's get back to Delquan, because I really want to hear about this person that recanted their story, the third person. Is that a rumor? Is that true? Can you share?
Oh, yeah, it's true. And once again, that was something that I don't know. I don't know. One thing that this whole situation has done, I'm not that nice no more, and I don't trust people. I don't trust people no more because I don't even know why this person did this. His only reason was that he felt like I took Shamako from his family because they was raised like brothers. He went on that YouTuber's platform and told some of the most outrageous, heinous, evil lies. That I had prostitutes in the church. All the men were prostituting themselves. All of the women were prostituting themselves. It was horrible. And it went on and on and on and on. But he ended up confessing. And I think Shamako recorded a phone call with him or either Conscious interviewed him, one of them. But he recanted his whole story and explained that he was clearly on some substance. And he had also been coerced by that particular YouTuber.
Which I have an excerpt from that interview, Sharrell. If you want me to play it, and you don't have to even share it. I can just play it on my end because it'll come to my microphone. Okay, so this is actually what you're about to hear is a conversation between accuser number 3 and his cousin Shamako, who is Larry's best friend.
Can you hear me good now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. Larry has never done anything to me. I've never had no problem with anybody that's done nothing to me, ever. You, nobody. When I came back, I'm not trying to make no excuse about nothing, but the biggest underlying issue to me is that I got on, and this don't even sound like me, I got on the phone with a complete stranger and talked about stuff I don't know about. I did this at 30. I was 38 at the time. As a 38-year-old grown man, like I don't want to get into.
But hold on, I know you don't know.
When I was in Greensboro,
right?
This is like right after I came back from Greensboro,
right?
When you listen to it. I'm not trying to make no excuse at all, but like the reason the whole conversation happened, I've never got on the phone and talked about nothing with no complete stranger ever in my life, ever. And I had no idea I would ever hear anything about it ever again. Like I had no idea I would ever hear about it again.
But can I say something?
What you saying?
And I just got to say this because I got to keep it real. I don't hate him. I don't hate any of these people, but I don't understand. What is the point? I mean, somebody like me that's in the public eye that works with people. I have daughters. I have godsons, goddaughters, who love me to death. And you don't consider any of those things and just get online and totally make up stuff. I think that's evil. I think that is horribly evil. And I'm going to tell you what else I think is evil. I think it's evil for the content creators to peddle that stuff and you don't have one receipt. And if you're going to peddle it and believe what Levontre say or Tasha K or Bishop Whitehead, because they're just going to continue to get bigger and bigger lies because they're trying to see which one is going to stick and follow me and affect me negatively. If you can believe all of that, but when you're telling that story, you need to also say, Larry Reid's house was not built when Levontre said this stuff took place. Larry did not know Levontre at 14 to 15. His mama's testimony tells that because when she came into church, she said he came 8 months later. He didn't even come into the church till he was 16 years old. I mean, you just need to tell the balanced story. Tell everything versus just your side for clicks and likes and to injure me and ride off my coattail.
Speaking of the plot thing, so is it Levontre went to the police, filed a police report, right? And put that address. What's the name of the street on there? But you're saying Lusty. But you have evidence that house was not even built yet?
Everybody can look it up. They got the whole address, 3216 Olusty Drive, Raleigh, North Carolina, 27610. That's it. Anybody can do it. And see, Tasha K could have done that. All the rest of the content creators who are working with her, you all could have done that. It's just Google. Googleations will tell you everything. You could have Googled and found out his age. You could have found out free without paying that little piece of money. That was October 1990. You could have figured all of this stuff out and say, okay, I choose to believe all of the detailed, salacious part of his story. I choose to believe it. I'm telling you I didn't do it, and it's a complete lie. But you can believe it. But at the same time, you need to also say, well, he lying about this, he lying about that, and he lying about this. And Larry's story has not changed the entire time.
You're right about that being very, very easy to prove. I'm in real estate. You can look it up. It's a matter of public record. And I heard Bishop Whitehead explains, like, he talks really fast. You have to listen to what he said. He was saying, why will Levante put that on the police report if that house wasn't built? That's a dwelling. It's a dwelling. But he's not saying before it was a dwelling, it was a lot. And
it was a lot.
Exactly. So,
That's right.
you do have to
built it from ground up.
And can we show those receipts?
Yeah, this is show receipts day. You ready?
So this would be that police report that Levante filled out in 2018, which I want to mention was just shy of 9 months after Larry had cut him off.
Okay.
That he ran. Because remember, the text exchange was in 2017. He then, to be more retaliatory, went and filed a frivolous police report against Larry in 2018 that doesn't even have Larry's name on it, doesn't have a phone number he can be reached on it, doesn't have an address that any investigator can pull up on. So this here is that police report. And as you guys can see here, the location of the crime is the 3216 Alusty Drive property, where he cites the location of the forcible fondling that's listed here under crime and classification. To Larry's point about the property deed, you can see here at the bottom when the property was sold, 10/10/2006.
Yeah,
Purchased,
that's evidence.
sold by Dr. Larry Reid.
And I moved in the next month is when I moved in there.
Let's talk about this police report, because it's being reported that he filed a police report, which led to an open investigation, which is still open. Are you under investigation, Larry?
No, and it is a frivolous, lying police report because I have never committed a sex offense against him or forcibly fondling. So that's a complete lie. And I believe, this is what I know about North Carolina. When you accuse somebody, even if you lied on the police report, you're going to at least get called. I did not get called at all. And when I spoke with my lawyers, this is, in the beginning, it was the same lawyer that me and Tasha K shared. So I want everybody to pause right there. I addressed or sent cease and desist letters to all of these YouTubers through Tasha K's lawyer, Olga. You know, Tasha K knew everything about this entire thing. We would discuss our cases all the time. Her case with Cardi B, her disgruntledness with Olga, my disgruntledness with Olga because she lost one of my cases and I had to go and get it appealed. We discussed all of those things. It is if you believe when she says she ain't know nothing, I hadn't heard it, that's a lie. Every drop of it is a lie. So, number one, that police report is not true. Number two is I think the investigator saw his testimony. I'm inclined to believe, I don't have any proof, that the same thing he told the first YouTuber is the same thing he put in that police report. And they readily seen that his age and the property being built does not match, and it was just put on ice. My lawyers could not get, everybody's saying police report, but it's a police report cover page, certified from Raleigh Police Department. You cannot even get the full report except through a judge. And we have attempted, and now we're reattempting again to get it because it helps my case to prove that he is peddling a lie and changing it over and ages over and locations over and over again. But then once Conscious went live and explained that his ages ain't matching, he went over there on Bishop Whitehead platform and then changed his age to 15. Then they told me, I ain't sure, with Tasha K, that he said that the grooming happened at 14 to 15. I do remember on the first interview, he said that he was molested from 14 to 17.
I also have that.
He has that right. Go ahead and play that, Conscious.
But before we play that, I want to revisit this thing about the police report because it's a part of the last. If you want to share your screen, Sharrell, you can.
Okay.
I wanted to show. So in Larry's 2021 litigation with the original interviewer who interviewed Levante, he also touted those lies that there was an open investigation against Larry as a result of this Raleigh, North Carolina police report. But during that 2021 litigation between the interviewer / YouTube uploader and Larry, they were able to subpoena the Raleigh Police Department and find that there was no such basis or no such investigation, that there was never an investigator assigned to this alleged police report. Larry's name is not in the database, which is why Larry is attempting to get a hold of the physical evidence for this current lawsuit because it corroborates what he's saying. But I want to show you a excerpt from that 2021 litigation where this Raleigh, North Carolina police report and this alleged investigation was addressed. It says Moore, aka the interviewer, aka the YouTube uploader, has repeatedly asserted that he has a report from the police department in Raleigh, North Carolina, which demonstrates that Reid was accused of and engaged in the sexual molestation of an underage boy, and that the report confirms this. Moore has attempted to bolster his false allegations by referring to what he claims is contained in a Raleigh police report. Upon consultation with that police department, Georgia Council learned that the police policy forbids the public disclosure of anything but a public cover page of the report, which Council then obtained and which also substantiates none of the charges made by the YouTube uploader or interviewer.
I love the fact that I asked you for receipts and you're bringing them. It's not as interesting. It's kind of slow, but he deserves to show all of his receipts because that's what everybody on the internet is asking for. So that's what we're getting ready to get. When I heard the second, I don't know, part of the documentary, and she brought Levante's mother in, I'm not going to lie. I got extremely confused. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. She said
she was lying too. That's why.
Let me tell you her accusations and you say your part. She said that she had bad suspicions about you, but she kept her child around you anyway. She heard rumors that you were gay, and you sent her to St. Martin. Okay. And it made me feel like you sent him to St. Martin so you could have your way with Levante. She said she didn't know about the accusations until her oldest son called her and told her. She said she had after that, she had a conversation with you. You denied him the rumors. She said she went back to the United States 2 to 4 weeks later. Everybody thought that was weird. How do you respond to those accusations?
You know, if you listen to a liar long enough, they'll tell on themselves, like Levante has done, changing their age over and over, stuff not lining up. That's what she did. She put her foot in the mouth saying that she found out about it and then stayed in St. Martin weeks later. That is not true. First of all, she probably was in St. Martin for the second time, because the first time I sent her, it was in 2008. She probably was in St. Martin for the second time when I kicked him out. We didn't hear about no allegations until he was already gone and his wife. They were already gone. So we're talking about deeper down into 2010. Her son did call her to tell her about the allegations, him, and then all that whole group that Levontre was saying with these people who was saying that I was gay. There's always been gay rumors around me. So that's what she talking about. Rumors she heard. There was never no rumors about me messing with no little boys or no little girls or little nobody. It was just always speculations about my sexuality. Although I was married and had kids, and there was no rumors around in the community. Everybody saying, "Well, I was having sex when I was having sex when I was having sex with him." It's just conspiracy. So that could possibly been what she was saying. But I don't know why in the whole hell and the heaven would she come and join my church when she had conspiracies about me, and why she would then bring her son over 8 months later. She said 9 months, but it was 8. 8 months later into the ministry, and then plot him upon Shamako, and then beg me to be in his life before I kicked him out and after I kicked him out, and begged for me to let him come back. Somebody asked in the chat, why would she not call the police after she found out whatever? I said, because she didn't believe it. Now, she told Tasha K that she did believe it and that she was going to try to get me another way. That is the weirdest, strangest thing that she could ever say. If you just Google my name and the name of my church, you see her on the front row every single Sunday. You see them running around the church all the way up until she stayed after he came back another year and a half. Only reason why she left my church is because, just like her son for frickin', I got on her for developing a relationship with some man in Africa over the internet she never seen, and she was receiving goods and shipping them out. I said, you're in a scheme and you're going to end up getting in trouble with the police. And I set her down. When I set her down, count the months she was gone.
Did you ever have a conversation with her about touching Levontre?
She was the one that it was her that called me to tell me, because I did not know.
Called to tell you what?
She's the one that called me and told me about what Levontre had alleged. I didn't know anything about it. Because see, I had kicked him out the church, so I didn't have a relationship with him. She probably still talked to her sons, the oldest one and Levontre. That's how I found out, through her. And she was saying, I don't believe it. And she said, now, if that's the case and Reid done all this stuff to you, why you always was obsessing after Reid? Her own words with Shamako Brown on the phone, obsessing after Reid, wanting to be over there to his house and begging me to bring him.
She told you that she doesn't believe what her son is saying?
Yes, she lied to Tasha K.
And Sharrell, I don't want to add this part. And this is why that interview terribly destroys everything that they're doing, because the audience was smart enough to understand that had she believed Levontre, her first response would have been not confronting Larry and going back home and carrying on, but going to the police station and taking her son in tow with her and criminally charging Larry because she believed.
Right.
That's proof she didn't. She was lying. That's proof that she didn't believe, because any mama would have done that. She didn't bit more believe that than a man in the moon. And she begged me. This is not an ask. She begged me. They're living with Pharrell. That's her oldest son's name. Living with Pharrell and his boyfriend. I think his name was Eugene at the time. I think he a pastor too. And they just wanted, they need life. And his wife was calling me behind her husband back, saying the same thing, that he needed our mentorship. That's the reason why he came back. I let him come back.
After these allegations, how long did she stay at your church?
Sharon?
Is that Levon? Oh, you can't say her name. Levantre's mother.
Yeah. Oh, I can't say her name?
Well, she never released her name. Yeah.
Well, that's her name, Sharon Beniston.
Oh, okay.
Beniston. That is her name. Apostle. She a fake apostle. That's number one. Apostle Sharon. And I'm disappointed in her. Yes, I am. And Ashley, because they were leaders in the church, and let this little boy, I know he was a full adult, but mentally a little boy, trick all of y'all into sitting in front of Tasha K. You didn't do your research. Everybody knows she peddled lies. Sit in front of Tasha K and misrepresent the minister that changed that area in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and in Raleigh, Durham. Shame on you.
Okay, so let's talk about Tasha K. I found this tape on the internet where she's talking to you, and she's saying that somebody brought her some information saying that you touch boys, and did you want to come on your channel and on her channel and defend yourself? And you were adamant, like you said no, because who would say that? I never did that. There's no evidence out there. Who recorded this? Why was it recorded? And how come she just didn't tell you what the receipts were?
Because she I think in her mind, I don't know. And maybe this is not true, but in her mind, I think she wanted it to be true. And she thought that I would say something to give her that thing she needed to nail me to the cross. But I was asking her adamantly, I said, Tasha, why would you call me to tell me about this and not tell me what the hell it is? And what are you talking about? She said, this person, you sent a text in your name saying, apologizing. I said, if I apologize to anyone, it won't for no child molestation. That's what I told her. And I said, if anybody give you a receipt saying I did, it was made up. I said, so if you go on your platform saying any of this, you're telling a lie, because I'm telling you, I've never did that to anybody.
She refused to tell you what the receipts were.
Yeah.
What do you think why won't she just tell you? And do you think these are the same receipts that she's saying that we will get at the end of this documentary?
Yeah, it's the response. It's whatever was in the Facebook inbox. And I probably did say the word apologize. But like if you see in the Del Quan one, I say the same thing to him, because I did kick these people out, withdrew my resources, and their life hit rock bottom. They were homeless.
Okay, that's a motive. Okay, they're mad.
His mama, even after she left my ministry, was living in a van.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh my God. So all of this, in my opinion, there's several different motivators, but the main one is that I dropped them, left them, blew up, doing well, and they not a part. And all the old friends they see around me, a part of my staff, they driving Mercedes, living in houses and doing well and traveling the world. That's the problem.
All right.
And
So
while we're on Tasha K, can I insert something?
Go ahead, Conscious.
To go back to that whole age thing, she said recently on a live stream a few days ago, it was in that video titled Larry Reid Confesses to Touching Teenage Boys. Mm-hmm. At the end of her running his Patreon material, she says, Levontre never, ever said that he was fondled or molested or physically violated by Larry at 14, that he was only groomed by Larry between 14 and 15. And she asserts this at the end of that commentary, that Levontre never said ever that he was touched or physically fondled or sexually assaulted by Larry at 14 and 15. That's what she said, Sharrell. Can you share my screen?
Yeah. I don't.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, let me present here. Okay.
Did she not know that he had done 2 interviews prior to that saying that very thing?
She probably does. She just doesn't give a damn. So this would be what Levontre said out of his own mouth, not what Unhinged said.
Okay.
So Larry Reid, in fact, molested you when you were a child at his home.
Yes.
In Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yes.
So the address on that report is the address that you filed with the Raleigh Police Department. That's Larry Reid's address.
Correct.
And he was the one that did it.
Yes.
And how old were you when this started?
14.
This is crazy.
And when did it stop?
17.
Just making it.
And I knew that happened at that address, so that's why that address is on the police report.
Mm-hmm.
getting to the age thing. So one of the other guys I talked to, I did it was a couple years ago, I did an interview with a guy, and me talking quick, I said 14. I met him early 2006. It was, I can't remember the exact month, but it was like January, February, March, somewhere in there, right? And from there is when I met him. But the actual inappropriate behavior started maybe a few months after that. But to the actual age, I'll just make that clear. I was 15 when that happened. Right.
And you were how old at the time?
I was like 14, 15.
Okay.
That's when I first met him.
Yeah.
So Larry.
So there you go.
I didn't even know Sharrell. I did not know him at all. And let me be very clear. At age 14, 15, or 16, he was in my church at 16, but I still ain't know him. And that's norm. Then when I tell you that's why I want to be listening to that stuff, because that is all kind of weird to me. And what is the real purpose? What do you want? Do you want a check?
Well, let me ask you this. Has any of the accusers or anybody involved in this ever sued you?
No, they can't.
I want to talk. Go ahead.
I sued them. I sued the YouTuber. I'm going to tell you, I should have sued Levontre back then. But I felt like he was being used. So I sued the YouTuber because the YouTuber, as I said in the beginning, had all these other lies: tax fraud, tax evasion, domestic abuse, even accusing staff members of being prostitutes and drug addicts. So I was like, this the man that's really pushing. Let me deal with him. And then Olga sent Levontre and a slew of YouTubers cease and desist. So life went on. But then when this thing came up with Whitehead, and he was playing everything from that YouTuber's platform, I said, okay, now they're together. I said, well, it is what it is. But then when I heard that he was actually up there live, updating his story, I said, now I have got to believe now this is on purpose and malicious, and that he's trying to do something to me and to my brand. So at that point, I said, okay, now it is absolutely time to sue him. And that's the reason why I filed. And there's something going on online that's a whole lie. Conscious told me about it. Thank you, Conscious. Saying that I dismissed the case because I didn't want the truth to come out. Now, if you believe that, you is asinine and foolish and crazy. If you read online what was found, it was Levontre that was contesting the filing, saying that his mama could not receive on his behalf, that he don't live in North Carolina at all, and that there's no diversity because we needed to be in two different states, and that he really lives in the same state that I do here in Georgia. So versus paying my lawyers for 4, 5, 6 months trying to prove that he lives in the state of North Carolina, I said, okay, let's just pull it and just refile in the proper state. Now that refiling is going to be more robust because of all of this that has happened. So they're really including a lot in this complaint this go around.
You're talking about the second lawsuit. He basically ducked being served.
No, he got served. But he filed the motion saying that he does not live in North Carolina.
Gotcha.
That's what he did. So we had to pull it so that we can refile. And the courts gave us that to when we are able to refile it.
Conscious, I see you said you had something.
A lot of the raggedy, worthless, bald-headed YouTubers who are, for whatever reason, don't know how to read a court doc are spreading that misinformation. I shared my screen here so you can see what Levontre presented to the courts that really led to Larry having to motion the courts for voluntary dismissal so that he could refile in Georgia, because Levontre presented a redacted license to the courts to prove that he lived in Georgia, not Raleigh, North Carolina, where he was served. So Larry had no choice but to submit a motion to dismiss so
Gotcha.
that he can refile. So this is the correct narrative. Levante is the one coochie popping, trying to avoid Larry bringing him under confrontation based upon his narrative in the court of law. So the people in the comment section who are saying that Larry and Levante should end up on the same platform together, they will. It's called the federal courtroom.
Okay, so let me start wrapping this up. So the first trial ended in an injunction. You did not lose that trial. You did
you talking about with the original YouTuber?
Oh yeah, the original
I heard
YouTuber.
people say that, but that's not what happened. Only thing people got to do is just read the darn document. What ended up happening is the judge was livid about the entire case and told that YouTuber and his attorney that this is a waste of his time and is a waste of money, and began to tell him, do you have $100,000? How much have you spent, Larry? He was asking all this. He said, go to media. I'm putting y'all in a mediation, work this out. What we worked out was a contract that said, I can't discuss him, he can't discuss me, and he must take down all his videos, not even refer to me or any of my employees, not by alias name at all. And he did not obey it. So we had to do a motion to the court 159 different times, and eventually the judge found him in contempt because the judge had to do an order as if we went to trial. He had to do an order as if we went to trial because he kept disobeying. So now where we're at now is that he's in contempt. And if my lawyer done what he was supposed to do, there's another motion that got filed in Ohio for that YouTuber. And he's going to he got to now cut a check because every day there is money that he's disobeying. Now we're asking the court for the first check. And then they're going to hit him again with a different, another level of contempt. And if he keeps on, he's going to be in jail.
I'm glad that you are taking these people to court because it needs to be settled in a court of law. But I can imagine. Can you tell us what this has done to you emotionally and financially? Just because it affects you, like it affected Cardi B. What is it doing to Larry Reid?
It costs money. And and all of these people are broke.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I won't get no money out of this at all. I can get a judgment if they happen to get some money, but 9 times out of 10, they ain't gonna get none. So it's just a waste of my time and my money. And for an analytical mind like me, that plays with my mind. I don't like to waste $2. So the psychological weight that this causes as a result of the financial burden. And also, you can call me anything you want to, but then to say that I am a child molester and I forcibly fondle teenage boys, that just sounds bad. And although it's a lie, somebody is going to believe it or just mention that was an accusation. So that is horrible. I found myself when I went out, I got invited to an event and all these superstars were there in gospel and also in R&B. And when I walked in, normally I walk in with my head up. I just naturally do. And I did. But back here in the back of my mind, there was something saying, I wonder, do they believe the rumors online? Have they seen the videos? I mean, thanks be to God. I mean, everybody from the A list down to the C list was stopping me saying, we support you. We know it's not true. You've been transparent when you should not have been. And people are upset and mad. Then calling Tasha, telling people when 10,000 people are on to tag BET, to try to mess up my job. You're letting everybody know that you are a hater. So what would be the point of that? What would be, even if you believed it? What do you think that kids I'm working with on the set or teenage boys, that you don't believe it? You just want to encumber and just cause some kind of pain. So it is something that I'm having to contend with. And even my community, my baby mom, who I was married to all the way up until 2007, we're legal all the way up to 2008. She is upset. And everybody around me who took care of Levontre, Sharon, and Ashley, I have to keep telling them, don't make a post. Don't go to North Carolina or Georgia do not fight. Do not shoot. I'm having to talk to my cousins who are in jail. Talking about, I heard about it. I can handle this for you. I'm like, no, don't say anything. And I don't even need that in my life. I am trying to work to keep my contractors paid, my children taken care of, and continue to build out this ministry and my career and my brand. So it has been something I don't wish upon nobody.
Unfortunately, Larry, I think you have to take her. I think you have to go to court. I think you must include Tasha K's name because,
yeah,
like you said, people are going to believe it anyway just because she said it.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time around, she'll stop doing people like this. I don't know. V and Perry wanted to ask you a question. Hold on.
Okay.
Hi, V.
Hi.
Hey,
what's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Hey.
Look, this is what I'm gonna start off with, right? Like with this thing, I don't condone the M, right? From nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I'm here for justice.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people can get sympathetic about the M word if it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, a person being falsely accused is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't care anybody in this chat that whisper. If I gave you a false allegations against you, you would feel the same way as the person that's being M'd. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I want to ask you this, Larry, like I'm saying this, at the end of the day, people that try to smear your name, if you know you're innocent, at a certain point, I know it costs money. I don't give a damn if it's, I don't know what Conscious called her, Unhinged, or any other blogger. I mean, because, you know, most big bloggers get a little whole bunch of little underhanded people to do their work for them. I wouldn't take them off the list neither.
Oh, they're not.
No. Okay, I'm just saying I would not take them off the list. Now I might hit the big one first, but don't unpack your damn suitcase because I'm coming for your ass too. And like I'm just saying, like the whole thing is, like I said, I don't condone it, but I know how this shit works. And where people want a goddamn view, they would say, you know, Conscious having sex with dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. V just hijacked the bank.
That is what I call men.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and after this show, because, you know, we're not going to bring up no more callers, but on Perry Sanders' YouTube channel, I'm going to open the platform up for people to talk about it. Okay. It's Perry Sanders on YouTube, and we can discuss this interview.
Yeah. And I want to say this just so people be very clear. My lawyers already told me this is going to be $800,000 for Levontre and Tasha K. That's first. A minimum with trial and all of that. So initially there was something like, look, these people are not worth that because they ain't got no money. They ain't gonna be getting none of this money back. But I don't want some editor of some platform to see this stuff online and decide to publish it. And then there's nothing in the courts that is telling my side of the story.
Right.
So the main reason that I'm doing it. And I also think that anybody that Tasha K has done this to their life and to their brand, and you work hard to build, I think you should file as well. I mean, I'm going to go in court already winning because she already done lost and been proven that she tell lies.
Right.
But I'm going to sue. I already done filed it. I just got to refile it. I'm already in the process of suing Levontre. And then after I handle that to where he cannot be used anymore for these people who need clicks, views, and to build their platform, then the next step is Tasha K. I would sue Whitehead, but he's not going to be around much longer.
Go ahead, V.
I'm just curious because I'm following this case.
interesting that Sharrell is bringing this case on her channel. So I was just curious to know why, after all this time, Levantre is bringing this back up again, saying this again. I mean, there's been so much time that's passed by. He's grown older, and this case seems like it was a while back. Why, after all this time, is this coming back around again?
Can I respond to that?
Let me tell you what I think. Number one, he's homeless.
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
that might do.
And he has ultimately been homeless since I kicked him out in 2010. Because although he was in the ministry from 2010 to 2017, he was living with different people and having arrangements with other people, and all of them he fucked up. After 2017, he was living in a house with former members that he fucked up. That's right. They came and told me everything, Ashley and Levantre. You have done so much wrong to people financially. And according to one of them, still hiding your car. You done this with 3 cars that I know of. You still hiding your cars from the collector with bad tags. The reason why he's doing this is because when he looked back over his life, his best days was with me. His best days were when I was taking care of him, giving him a gig, him traveling with my group, playing the drums to Jamaica, to all the different places and all over the world, and on national TV, Baba Jones, when he requested me to come on his last episode. Mm-hmm. That is the reason why. These people's lives, separate from me, have not been up since I cut them off.
Okay.
I did hear something like that. Didn't he borrow some money from... I heard something. Didn't he borrow some money from Minister Joshua or something? I heard that he's hard up for cash. That's what I heard.
Listen. That money, the reason why Joshua done that, because I was saying, because his wife was trying to, do hair, and she had been doing hair and with some of the ladies in the church. I said, it's a black business. Okay, if you feel like you want to invest, go ahead on. I was pretty much pushing him to do it. Him and her ran away from Joshua and his wife for years, not paying, messing up their credit. They had to pay out of pocket. Then he contacted Sharon, his mama, and she gave him the runaround and went silent when she was friends with them as a leader and an elder in the church. All of them trash, if you ask me. Every last one of them. They're all trash. I love them, but the truth is they trash. And to just stress American citizens that we are forced to have to take care of those of us that are actually doing well in society, that went to school and worked our businesses and our darn jobs. This is the reason why they are doing this. And Ashley is worse than Levantre. We just ain't telling that story because it ain't out yet.
Damn.
Yeah, wow.
I want to add to that plight in terms of my personal belief. A lot of people are trying to figure out why my knowledge is so acute when it comes to this, and it's because I've been covering this litigation and the story since 2020. I literally went down into North Carolina, interviewed old members, etc. All those interviews are on my platform, or on my Patreon, or on my YouTube channel, etc. So this is something that I don't know just as a commentator, but almost as a journalist, if you will. If you look at, and I want to share my screen here if you don't mind, Sharrell.
Yeah.
What you're going to see on the screen here is after Levantre. Now, mind you, these are posts from his Facebook account dating all the way back from 2014 all the way up to 2017, where he's praising Dr. Reid. At this point, Levantre is back in the ministry. He's back playing for Dr. Reid's band. He's the drummer. Oh, wow. This is after he's accused Dr. Reid of fondling him, etc. And Dr. Reid receives him back on behalf of Sharon, the mother, who begged Larry to forgive her son and let her son come back into the ministry. He's all over Facebook here, as you can see, praising Reid. He's all over Facebook praising Shamaka O'Brien, who he accused of protecting Larry in Unhinged's interview. He's all over Facebook praising Reid again, his ex-wife, Lisa, etc. All of that good jazz.
Wow.
When you ask the question of why is Levontre doing this, I believe it's because Levontre knew that Larry Reid was always going to be a big deal. This was a part of his allure and his attraction to being a part of Larry's life. He knew from the get-go Larry was going to be that dude. When Larry cut him off, he was separated from living vicariously by way of Larry's success. When Larry's success manifested, it's just very coincidental that Larry's in the height of his career. He's on BET, he's on HBO, he's in documentaries. He's not only online a big deal, he's also crossing over into mainstream success. And then Levontre, a broke, bussy-toting power bottom from the country bowels of Raleigh, North Carolina, living with his mother in a wood-paneled living room, is now looking at that manifested glory and comparing his life at 30-something years of age and has nothing to show for himself at this point. Because to Larry's point, the best part of this man's life was when he was interconnected to Dr. Reid. So he asserts himself only for one reason and one reason only, to make sure that if you are going to be successful in my face, that you're not as successful as you could be, because I'm going to make sure to disrupt some of that as a payback. There's only one incentive here, and it's revenge. And guess what? Larry would not be the only person that a bunch of low-class individuals who never made anything of themselves have done to people who they've had close proximity to and watched them come up the scale. That has happened in my own family, where people have entered into six-figure careers through the NBA, through sports, and bitter relatives are mad as hell that they don't get a piece of the damn pie.
And I want to say this to those assholes that are in the chat who are totally out of their mind, raggedy and ridiculous, that are saying, don't drag this man victim shaming. He's not a victim. He's a liar. And these people are over the internet telling lies on me, and I'm supposed to just let these people just talk really nice about them. I ain't that kind of pastor. I will cuss you out, drag you, and continue to live my life. This is what I want to say to Levontre, his mama Ashley, and whoever else is dumb as hell carrying this lie and believing it. Move on with your darn life. That's what I did. I moved on. Me and all your former friends, the Locklear family, the Bryants, Lisa, we have moved on and we're doing well. We were not talking about y'all before this. Move on with your life because you're looking desperate and demonic. Because why go to these people who hate me? I mean, hate me. And then tell this lie. Yes, you're being used, but you're being used willingly. So you will have to sit with and live with that you allowed yourself. And I can't believe Sharon and Ashley, they were leaders in the church. You allow yourself to be used to smear somebody and you don't have no proof. And both of y'all know that Levontre been a liar since you met him. You know how much he lied in the church. You know how much he lied to you, Sharon, and come to me about it. Actually, you know how much he lied and you came to me about it. So why would y'all put yourself out there now sitting with a known liar, Tasha K, and tell more lies? Whatever money they paid y'all, I hope it was worth it.
Damn. I think it's a good thing, Larry, that I hate that you have to spend so much money, but you have no choice but to go to court.
Right.
And, Tasha K, has to learn through court. See, that's just, I don't think she's going to stop. Therefore, my platform is always open to you because these documentaries are going to go on and on and on. And if you ever want to say anything about it, sometimes you just get fed up of the lies. And my platform is always open. And I hate the fact that you got to spend damn near $1 million like Cardi B to prove your innocence. God don't like ugly. He don't like ugly. So,
But Sharrell, can I say one last thing? I know you about ready.
I was getting ready to wrap up. Go ahead,
Perry. I know.
Quick.
But I'll just say this real fast, right? People will sell you anything. You got used car salesmen, life insurance salesmen, all this bullshit that'll sell you shit for a click and a view. If, in my opinion, if a person cared so much about somebody's past and gonna bring them on social media, why haven't they helped him $70 or $100 to go down to the local police department and file criminal charges on Larry? Why haven't they sued Larry?
Yeah.
My thing is, at a certain point, people, the shit, it sounds like when people get accused for Ming, when you're using a person, it's just the same because you only looking out for your bottom line and you don't give a fuck about that person. But go ahead.
Perry is religious.
Let me say this, since Perry said this, she is said in the phone conversation that everybody's heard the whole thing. I told her that. I said, why don't you help them go down there and fight this in court? She said, well, it's past the statute of limitations. I said, okay. So I knew in that moment, oh, this is about you building your channel and dragging me because you really want, let me make sure I'm very clear. Tasha K wants to be the new church sector. And she wants my seat. And ain't nobody in the church going to listen to her because they know she don't even believe in Jesus or God or in basically nothing.
I mean,
when her ass hit that fire.
You would think some people would learn. Tasha hasn't closed her case with Cardi B yet. But, also too, I think it's important for you to talk to Jaguar, talk to Cardi B, talk to Dennis McKinley, talk to the other people that she has wronged. And, who knows what'll come of that. But anyway.
Well, I think it's very interesting, Sharrell, that I actually have Cardi B's old home and Cardi B stays as my neighbor. And I think somehow or another, me and her will be talking.
I think that's the best thing. You need to talk to all the victims. So that's Cardi B, that's Jaguar Wright, that's Dennis McKinley, and I am missing somebody. That's Timothy Savage. Start talking to people that have gone through what you're going through, people that she has put through what she's putting you through right now.
Yeah.
But as I said, the offer is always on the table because she looks like she's just getting started. If you want to clear up any more lies, rumors, anything, my platform is always open to you.
Yeah, well, and thank you for that, because what I like about you is that you're in the middle, and you pay attention to receipts and not just rumors. And I'm glad I don't feel like that you on my side or their side. I feel like you just doing a show and creating conversation and being unbiased about it. I thank you for that. And every other content creator that's doing the same, thank you for that. Although I ain't seen nothing but bullshit on the internet. But though there gotta be somebody in there. And I also want to thank Conscious, because Conscious take a lot of flack because he is speaking up for me. Now, what the hell is this? What kind of world we living in where you gonna give somebody flack for sticking with the facts? I mean, because he dragging me too. He dragged me from going to that interview. I mean, he his own person. So I want to say thank you, Conscious, for being unbiased, sticking with the facts, not just this case, but the other people that you help. You help people get served that were lying on another preacher. It was another vlogger that was doing something ridiculous. You done that. I watched you do that. My old case, you talked about that and you kept it real. Thank you for all of that.
Conscious, I just want to let you know that you are doing a terrific job of research. I mean, I would want you on my side any day.
Yep.
All right, y'all.
I don't know about on the side. I mean, cause he gonna worry. I mean, he called me and dragged me behind the scenes and on his platform. I'm like, what is this? I thought we were cool.
I asked for receipts and I got them. Thank you so much, Dr. Larry Reid, for coming on with the receipts and telling your story and being honest about it.
Yeah.
Conscious TV, you're my boy. I'll be on the phone with you right after this.
Yes. I love y'all and thank y'all. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. On 3, let's say bye. 1, 2, 3. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.